Hey guys, Dave from the Centurion's Review. What I have here is The Gathering of the Four. This specific one is Buried Secrets. The Gathering of the Four is a Four Against Darkness expansion. I reviewed Four Against Darkness on my website, so check it out if you're not familiar with the system. It's a pen and paper dungeon delve. It's pretty good. But anyhow, this expansion here, you're playing just a cleric. The story behind The Gathering of the Four is each book covers just one character class, and you play that character, and it has its own storyline, and when you're done with the four stories somehow interconnect, and there's going to be a fifth book where all four characters join forces to defeat whatever, go on some adventure or something, but that's how it works. So, even though this is a Four Against Darkness book, it plays more like a choose-your-own-adventure, kind of like not really so much as like the traditional choose-your-own-adventures, but more like a lone wolf role-playing game. So it's like a choose-your-own-adventure where you roll for attacks and stuff, and also this uses cards in order for some random effects to occur. That's part of the game. But it's pretty good. We're going to take a look inside the book, but I warn you in advance, I'm not going to go too deep into the book, because if you learn the story beforehand, it's just going to ruin it for you. So anyhow, let's take a look.
Alrighty, let's take a look at the Buried Secrets book. It's written by Victor Jarmusch, and it's only $6.99, which is nice, because in this day and age where everyone's charging $60 to $100 for games, it's nice to be able to get one for $7. So let's see how many pages are in here. 32, is it 32? 33, including the character sheet. Alright, let's discuss the character. Let me zoom in so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Rubria. She's a third-level cleric. She has the following equipment: heavy armor, which is good, two-handed crushing weapon, which is a war hammer, and she has 1 vial of holy water, a riding horse, and 30 gold pieces. In addition, she starts the game with 7 life. Unlike the normal Four Against Darkness clerics, this one has a religion. It says you can opt to use this in future games too. What's cool about the religion is each of them gives you some kind of advantage. So let's go over the first one. Zoyas. What do they do? At any time, you can use your blessed power to cast a lightning bolt instead. That's really cool. This is the one I chose for mine, Laura. You can use your blessed power as a healing power instead, which I like, because I've noticed in Dungeon Delves there's always someone that needs to be healed, usually my own character. And this one here, at any time you can use the blessed power to add your level when fighting any monsters that have the word chaos in their name, so that's kind of cool. And to play this game, you need a deck of cards, and what you're going to do is you're going to take all the black cards numbered 2 through 10, both of the aces, which count as ones, and both jokers and 2 black kings, and shuffle them together. You have 24 cards that you're going to use. And there's parts of the game where it will ask you to draw cards, and it like controls a random effect. Like it might say if you drew 1 through 4, go to this page, or 6 through 10, go to that. But the kings and the jokers have special abilities here. When you draw a king, you can look at you discard it and you look at the next face down card, and you can either leave it where it is or put it on the bottom of the deck, so it allows you to like scry like in Magic the Gathering. And the Joker is kind of cool. It makes you roll on the Chaos table. There's 6 events on the Chaos table. And each one's unique, so it can only happen one time. If you roll it again on the Chaos table, you just roll until you get something new, and after you've used all 6, the Chaos table no longer works. So the first is Disease. So whenever you draw a card with a value of 8 or less, you lose 1 life point, so this is just a terrible disease to have. You can remove it with a healing power. Poltergeist, basically a ghost throws something at you, and you have to save versus level 5 dodge or lose 2 life points. false memories, you get a false clue. That's a real problem because there's things in this game that rely on a certain number. The more clues you have, the more likely something good's going to happen. So this acts as like a negative. So if you have 2 clues and you get a false clue, now you only have 1 clue. Time is short. Discard the next card on top of the deck. Insect swarm. You're attacked by a swarm of insects and lose 1 life point. Bad luck. Treating a card with a value of 9 or 10 as having a value of 1 instead. This can be removed by bless or by drawing a king. The backstory. Superior in your religious order gives you some news. There was a sect of worshippers of the chaos dragon god Terzanecht that recently were destroyed along with their leader. It was done by rangers from the Duranthian Empire. However, some of them escaped, including Z Golag. She's a concubine of the Terzanecht sect. And she learned of a magical blue sapphire known as the Eye of Atlas. Your elder from your order called Zenobius was buried with it, so Z Golag is going to his town burial place in the town of Foulsbend to get the eye, and you have to get there before her to prevent the bad things from happening. So that's your basic goal. As far as experience rolls, you don't do any. When you're done with the adventure, you become 4th level, which is good, and then explains how to use clues. And as far as lighting, it's always considered that you have good light here, so even at night there's moonlight, so you don't have to carry around a lantern or anything. That just gives you a final note, not to read ahead. But the way you play the game is you go from the paragraphs give you sometimes choices of where you can go, or you draw cards to see which paragraph you're going to next. Occasionally you come to a paragraph where you have to fight monsters, and it'll tell you if you get treasure and stuff. I'm not going to tell you too much because I don't want to ruin the storyline for you, but that's the basic gist of how the game goes. So now we'll go and back, and I'll tell you what I thought of the game and what I liked and what I didn't like.
So, what did I think of Buried Secrets? Well, first off, the price for it's damn good. The price, what did I pay for this? $6.99 at my FLGS. I mean, that's a great price. The game, though, only takes about 2 hours to play. I was lucky I was able to play it successfully on the first try, so you're paying like $3.50 an hour for entertainment, which is very inexpensive. But though the game's okay, it's actually good. It's basically just a choose-your-own-adventure, or like a lone wolf game. As far as the 4 Against Darkness being an expansion for it, well, it's just you're not drawing rooms and stuff like you are in regular 4 Against Darkness. The only 4 Against Darkness rules you're using are basically the character sheet. In addition to the character sheet, you're also using the 4 Against Darkness attacking and defense rules and stuff. So it's really just a choose-your-own-adventure game. It has all the pluses and cons of those type of games, but they did drop the ball on one thing. There's clues in this game, and when you get a clue, you're just counting the number of clues you get. So if you have 3 clues, you know what I mean? Later on in the game, when they're needed, it will say add +2 to whatever card you drew for each clue you have. That doesn't help the game. That type of abstraction ruins the storyline. I would have liked it better as if they gave you actual clues where they said something, like a real clue, and then you get to a point of the game where you have to make a decision where you take the clues you've been given and you use them to determine whether you're going to go through the blue door or you're going to go through the red door. Obviously, if you understood the clues and stuff, you'll choose the correct door, and it will help you win the game. And if you didn't understand the clues or you didn't get any clues, you're probably going to go through the wrong door and end up getting yourself killed. I mean, I think that would have been better than just having an abstraction of the clues. And there's also something in this game called keywords, which is unique for a choose-your-own-adventure type game. It was kind of neat. So let's say you end up helping someone in this game. So instead of them giving you like a magic dagger or something, or a magic mushroom or some nonsense like that, they give you a keyword to write down on your sheet. And you wonder, why did they give me this keyword to write down on my sheet? And later on, you're playing the game and you get to a paragraph and it says, if you have such and such keyword, then go to this page. And if you don't, go to the other page. So if you have the keyword, you'll take a path, basically it'll allow you to avoid something bad. For example, if you had a keyword like for trap and you got to a certain paragraph, it'd say, well, if you have the trap keyword, then go to page whatever, and you go to that page and you end up seeing the trap and it doesn't harm you. But if you don't have the trap keyword, you go to another page and you step in the trap and get injured. So the keyword thing, it's very unique, and I thought it actually helped the game quite a bit. So props to them for that. That was cool. Let's see what else there is here. Yeah, I mean, if you like choose-your-own-adventure games, or if you like the ones that are kind of like role-playing games where you roll while you're doing the choose-your-own-adventure, you're going to like this game. So I recommend it, but there's one bad thing, and it has nothing to do with the gameplay itself. The marketing... Jeez. For Against Darkness and Buried Secrets, neither book says who the publisher is. So when I wrote the review for For Against Darkness on my website, I saw on some other site that, I don't know if it was Ganesh or something like that, was the publisher. If you're going to publish a book, a rule book, or a game, you got to have the publisher down, and you have to have a name of a company. If you're going to make games, your game company has to have a name. Here's the problem here. You can't go on Amazon and buy this book. It's not there. I don't know if it's out of stock. You can't go on eBay and buy it. I couldn't find a single place online you could buy it. I happened to see this when I was in my FLGS in Mount Prospect, Illinois. They had it and I bought it since I like For Against Darkness. I saw it was only $6.99. So if someone watches this video and wants to get this expansion, I don't know where to tell you to get it. I mean, if you don't live in Illinois, you're going to have to jump on an airplane and go to Mount Prospect, Illinois to get it. So I mean, if you're going to have a game company, have a name for your game company and have a website for it so there's a central location people can go to get information about your game. I mean, this is just basic business sense, but anyhow, nice game, terrible marketing. So thanks for watching, and please click like on this video if you like the video, and please subscribe to this channel.